Okay. So over the last 10, 11 sessions, you guys have been learning a lot, right? So let's just summarize it, what you learned it. And the way we're going to do it is you're going to tell me what you learned it, and then I'll just write it down. So this also gives you a view into how good you're remembering the whole process and what additional area you need to focus on it as you go into the second project. Okay, so we'll organize all of our thoughts around the SDLC phase. And then what we'll talk about it is, as a quality assurance person, what you will do it in during that phase, what tools you will use it, and what are the outputs or artifacts that you will produce. Okay, everybody good with that?
Yes.
No
Okay.
choice.
All right. All right, let's start with it. Let's start with the SDLC phase one. What is the first phase happens in the software development lifecycle?
Yeah, I think they are good. See, I told you.
All right. So planning. What do you do as a quality assurance person?
You don't do nothing. You do something, but you don't do this is simply handled by a business product owner.
All right. So it's good. So you don't do anything. Okay. So let's draw a line. Okay. What do you do next? What is the next phase?
I think
Analysis. Okay. So one at a time. Since I'm remote today, you have to speak out a little bit louder. So one at a time, you tell me what activities you do it as a quality assurance person in the analysis phase.
Analysis phase, this is where we check.
just speak up a little bit louder.
Yeah,
Or you
you
can-
got to.
If you want.
Yeah, so I think in an analysis phase, I think this is where we check to see if the requirements are complete, consistent, and what's the last three? Complete, consistent, and
Correct.
And to see
Okay.
this is,
So-
and this, we also create the test plan, if I'm not mistaken.
Start creating test. Right.
Okay. Somebody said start creating test cases.
Test plan.
Okay. Okay. What else?
Dilip, you might want to zoom in maybe a little bit. Yeah, okay, that's better.
So creating a test plan, reviewing requirements, and applying 3CNT. What else?
In different scenarios.
Different scenarios. Can you elaborate a little bit more on it? What kind of scenarios and what scenarios?
Just like what if this then that, like different outcomes.
Outcome scenarios. Is that any different than the requirements?
Requirements is what has to be involved, right?
So when you say scenarios, are you talking about the test scenarios?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Will you do anything from what Herschel taught you today?
Acceptance criteria.
Okay. Oh.
What did we create today? Acceptance criteria and what else was there? What did you write in Gherkin? Not, they are not UAT test case, but what did you, what's the term? The acceptance criteria are requirements, right? But what is the thing that you create in Gherkin?
Story.
Okay, maybe. What is the acceptance criteria and requirements? So, okay, so Dilip wrote it for you guys. Acceptance tests, right? So it's not even 1 hour. Okay.
So make sure you view the video when you go home today.
I'm sure they will watch it a couple of times.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you do anything else?
That's it. I'm pretty sure. that's it.
Again, the key to that is think about if you're an interview and person is asking you, would you throw the questions like you are questioning through a guesses, or would you be more confident in answering? Okay, then I want you guys to be more confident in your answer to me. Don't throw the things at me that you think I'm going to catch in. Okay, let's talk about, since I've not heard anything new, let's talk about the tools. What tools you use it?
And the planning stage.
Yeah,
Say that
analysis-
again.
Yeah. What tools do you guys use in the analysis phase?
Is DevOps.
Okay,
Okay. What else?
Can also use Jira too.
Okay.
okay.
What else?
Where pen on paper, okay. When you don't have the tools, what would you do? Now, if you don't have these tools, well, Notepad, I mean, Microsoft Office, isn't that what you use? I mean, for those type of things?
Remember, you use Word, PDF,
Yeah, all those are productive,
Excel.
because not all the companies will have these tools, right? So,
Any other tools you guys used it?
And Notepad.
Yes, the Notepad, I'll put it as part of.
so let me ask you one question. Where would you guys write your acceptance test? What tool would you use it? Notepad? If I ask you for the tool for automation test, what tool would you use it? Not the Ruby Cucumber, but Cucumber. If you have to start creating your acceptance test, generally you will formally write it in the Cucumber. If it's available.
Now let's talk about what are the things you produce. What artifacts you will produce.
So like, when you say artifact, what exactly do you mean? By
What is the output that you will give it as part of that work?
So as part of the QA activities, what is that you are producing? What is your output?
test plan?
Test plan, okay,
Okay.
at least test plan, right?
Yeah, what?
Test plan, yep,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, what else? What do you do it when you review the requirements to do a 3C and T?
True.
What? All right. It's good. Okay. I'll take it that you produce only test plan. Let's move forward. We'll come back to it later. All right. What is the next phase? Okay, I heard 3 different things.
Design.
Okay. What activity you do as a quality assurance person?
Review the process.
You update the test plan.
A scenario will create.
And then you create the test plan.
Okay, review and update test plan. What else?
And then, create test scenario.
But didn't you created that in the analysis phase? So where do you create it? Analysis or design phase?
The design, you create the test scenario.
So this is where you guys have conflict. Okay, what else you do?
Right, review and update test plan. So it's the same as complete the test plan, right?
Yep.
Writing test cases.
You think? Okay. If you're sitting at an interview panel and somebody asks it, do you start giving answer? I think. Say that again.
Yeah, so you create.
Yeah, you have to say it out a little loud. It's hard for me to hear here.
We will be writing the test cases.
Okay. What else?
Didn't you guys review the documents? What did you guys review? You said that review and update test plan. What other things you gonna review?
Design of. Design.
And just pick up.
Okay.
Okay. Any other activity?
I thought for the creating the test cases, we do it when the developers create the code.
Well, that's where most,
Why we got it in design.
okay.
Well, that's fine. So you don't think that we create the test cases here? Let me ask you a question. when we ask you to write the test case steps, let's say when I wrote down the login, was my expectation that the code was already written? Or I used requirements to write those things? Right? All right, looks like we don't have any more activity, right? So let's talk about the tools. What tools you use? Say that again. You have to say out loudly.
DevOps, Jira.
Okay.
Same office, okay?
Okay.
So you probably want to copy paste.
What else?
That's it.
That's it. Okay, in the classroom, everybody's done. Looks like that's it.
All right, let's talk about what are the things that you produce.
Test scenario.
Yeah, what else? Anything else?
What about the, so you do the review and update test plan, so wouldn't that come out as your output? Updated test plan? Okay,
Let's go. All right, what else? Next phase. Which one?
Implementation.
Activities you do as a quality assurance person.
Coding and writing the individual test cases.
Okay.
writing, is that what you do, what you did?
Like the test cases. Yeah.
You didn't do any coding, right?
Right.
Yeah. So as a QA, you don't do any coding unless you are coding something automation test cases.
Okay. So I have a question. Is this any different than the test case creation you did in the design phase? Because you said that you already created test cases. What are you doing here in implementation?
Maybe
Test cases.
different types of testing.
Can you have one conversation? It's very hard remotely to hear it.
Go ahead, Eric. What were you saying?
So, I was thinking that we probably detailed test cases, because the first one we just created the test case in general.
Okay,
And you go into some more detail to like what the test case, that's what you use Jira, that's what I'm thinking.
so detailed steps and detailed test case, is that what?
Yeah.
Okay,
Right. What else?
That's about it, honestly.
Okay. Looks like you don't do anything else. What about tools? Same as this one?
Jira, DevOps.
And the artifact is updated test cases.
Yes, sir.
That's good.
Nobody's saying no, so I think it's good.
All right. Hopefully you noticed that I left so many blank slides. What is the next phase?
I think the sorry, the implementation is where you run the test. So
Okay. So you said you run the test here?
yeah.
Okay.
So can use the automation to run the test as well.
So you're doing automation here too?
It's a visa. No, no, run the test. It's a cost. No. It's a construction.
Okay. Let's move to the next step. What do you do after implementation in SDLC?
Hold on, Dilip.
Implementation, we do like peer review.
So in the implementation, what you're saying is we review the other test cases,
the
is
peer
that what?
review.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
All right. Let's move to the next phase. What is the next phase?
Testing.
Which one?
Testing.
Testing? Okay, what do you do?
Executing, work with code and see if it is working or not. It's a validation.
Executing test cases. What else?
Create work.
Well, what is that?
One thing at a time, and if you can see it a little bit louder, I think it'll be easier.
Okay, go ahead.
We're gonna check to see if we found a defect, we open, if we find a bug, we open the defect.
So what's that process called?
Validation. To check if it is working.
I know, but what is that process called? Defect management. Okay, all right.
What else? Now, I'm a little confused. I'm going to just go ahead and turn this one red because you said run the test and implementation and run the test and testing. Okay. Okay. I don't think we need a lot of conversation. What I want to know is what is your answer? You're not going to have a lifeline of a buddy in the interviews. So I'm expecting no more conversation internal, but just loudly saying out, what do you think you do in this testing phase?
All kind of testing is done in this.
Say that again?
All kind of testing is done.
So that's what is execution test cases. Is there any other type of testing you're talking about? Be specific. I want to know instead of all, what is all contains?
Regression testing.
So Bonavancha is saying regression testing.
Okay.
Acceptance.
All right, we have been quiet for a while. Let's go to the tools.
DevOps, Jira,
So you want to copy the same thing?
Okay.
Anything else?
We can put Bootcamp also.
Okay. So
Say that
folks
again.
are catalog.
Ah,
So UI, that all.
Okay.
Everything.
So Postman.
So SOAP UI and Postman.
No.
okay.
So Ruby Cucumber there, they want to add.
So SQL.
SQL, they want to add SQL.
Anything else? Okay. What do you produce?
Test case.
Bugs.
You produce bugs. Okay. You produce the bugs, or do you actually report the bugs?
Report bugs.
Report.
Bug reports. That's what it is.
Okay. I just want to make sure I understand what you're planning to do it when you go into the workplace. So
Okay.
do you produce anything else? All right, let's move forward. What is the next phase? Are you acceptance, UAT? What phase you produce?
It should be here, I guess.
What is it?
UAT will be here.
But what is the phase, right? SDLC.
This is where we basically.
Acceptance.
Yeah,
Okay. So what activity you do?
go ahead.
We don't really do much in this phase, but after the business usually go and test. That's when we just check the functionality of the. See if everything is working before we deploy it out for production.
Okay, so I heard Eric saying we don't do anything as a quality assurance. Everybody good with that?
What is it?
With the user, we'll sit and we can
Use
use
of
the.
the-
So it's an end user support?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
What else?
Yes, Bonavacha.
Defect management.
Defect management, okay.
Okay. Okay. Getting everybody getting quiet. Let's go to the tools. So I'm going to write it down for you guys. Tools and artifacts. What
Need to-
tools?
We are talking about tools, right? All right, no tools looks like.
All right. What are the artifacts? If you have an answer, say it. I'm not interested in the conversation happening in the room. Right? You all went through this class together, so hopefully everybody has the similar thing. No tools, no artifacts.
So if we are doing defect management, then tools will be there. We are
What
using
tools?
Jira. We will be using Jira to detect any kind of
Okay.
things. Yeah.
Okay. What artifacts?
Test report.
So Eric is saying test reports.
Okay. So it's kind of interesting. You're not doing any testing. All you're doing is end user support, but you are creating test reports. All right. Let's move on in the interest of time. Next phase.
Maintenance.
Maintenance.
What do you do?
Do nothing.
All right. So if you're not doing anything, you don't need tools or you're not going to produce artifacts. Okay. So I'm going to actually create a visual for all of you.
One more point for the acceptance.
Okay. What is it?
For that, the end result, like, they should check, like, the system is usable by user.
Okay.
Well, when you say they, who is they?
The user should be able to.
Yeah,
use-
I'm not interested in what user does it. I'm interested in what you're going to do as a quality assurance person. All right.
End-to-end testing
What?
with the end-to-end testing.
Who does end-to-end testing? You're doing it in what phase? Acceptance?
You can say yes. In acceptance also we do. Even testing also we do. Like
Well,
we are
that
sitting
was
with
that
the-
was hang on. So that was not what everybody in the class thought. So I'm gonna go ahead and write it down. And then what is the other thing you said they do? Sushmita, you said something else.
I think she said in the acceptance and testing phase. They're
Okay.
doing as well as end-to-end testing.
So so I do the same thing 2 times?
So end-to-end testing is done with the customer as well as end-to-end testing is done in the testing phase. As a whole product is, working or not, we are also doing it in the testing as well as with the customer. So it should
Okay.
become in both the phase.
Okay, I wrote it down on both. All right. So the way I see it, Harshal, look at the amount of the artifacts this
Dilip.
group is good. Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, Bola.
Yeah, they're on maintenance, they're saying like at the QA, we don't do nothing, but I'm just wanna add like the defect management.
Where
And
maintenance.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bonaventure is saying defect management will go as in the maintenance as well.
Okay. So that means you use the
And
same
even-
tools.
Yeah,
Yep.
even in testing phase also, we can have sanity testing, we can have all different kind of testing, In testing phase, we will be using smoke testing, sanity testing, all should come into picture.
Okay. Any other type of testing?
Integration is one.
Okay, so load and performance, Dilip wrote it down. You may not see it, but I think he's typing. Somebody said functional. Okay, so they are saying functional.
Any kind of database testing.
Backend testing, database testing, okay.
Okay.
Integration testing will be coming. Integration testing, like each module is working with the other.
Now, is that what you do as a QA? Integration
Yes,
test?
yes, like if we have two different modules, then we have to check whether the flow is from one module to the other module
Okay.
or not.
All right. So I think I'm kind of ready to wrap it up, right? So here are the couple of things I all of you think about. Look at,
Dilip, can you zoom in?
Yeah. No, I was trying to like it fit in all into one page also.
Yeah.
Okay. If you look at it, look at the amount of the work you produce, almost nothing. Okay. So why do you need a full-time job? No, it's not a matter of laughing. It's a matter of, are you having a confidence of what you produce? Okay, let's talk through it. You talk about the test plan, right? If you read into test plan, there are a whole bunch of reports. The product and process metrics reports gets created. Where do you do that? Who produces the data for you? So you say that you're going to write the test cases. Who produced the data? Next thing you talk about is you create a test scenarios, right? Is that same thing as the test trees, or is it something different? Herschel talked about Ruby Cucumber, right? You just said, hey, I'm going to use it only in analysis phase and only in the testing phase. Is that your role? Just to do it only two phase? Or you take the acceptance criteria that you wrote in Cucumber and you start identifying the test scenarios, right? So I want you guys to think about it. When you wrote all the design, right? Did you produce it, the test report, how many tests you created, how many you still need to create? When you execute it, you need to do something similar, right? Okay.
So test report, right?
Test reports, right? So if I look at it, right? Look at this one, right? So there's a lot of things that you do it, right? In addition to Ruby Cucumber, you essentially do a user acceptance testing that you mentioned it, that you don't do it. Actually, you do it. If you read it, each one of the test cases that we talked about, you as a quality assurance person, don't do integration testing. That's a developer's responsibility. You focus on user acceptance testing. Also, remember, one of the key idea when you're done with the testing is to give us a thumbs up, whether it's ready for the UAT or not, right? Whether it's ready for a prime time or not. Is that statement you come from testing and acceptance testing? Because if the system is not usable, if the system doesn't perform as expected, would you even let it go into production?
No.
Isn't that a quality assurance person's responsibility?
So generally there are test reports that you produce during the testing, almost daily basis, okay? You send out email, hey, this many tests are there, this many pass, this many fail, these are the blockers, and so forth. And end of every phase, you will have go, no go type of decisions. And you have to say, yep, looks like everything is passing. So you work with the team, produce and say, we have this many high, medium, low defects, all those things, and say, do we proceed to the next phase or not? Basically.
Yeah.
Give it to, right? In the testing space specifically, as well as acceptance.
Right. Also, I think it's somebody mentioned you do end-to-end testing, both in the acceptance phase and the testing phase. If the system is not working in end-to-end, would you even give it to the user? So for example, if you're building a house and your electrical system is not working, would you even tell the user, hey, let's just close and you move in? Right? So you should do end-to-end testing more on the testing phase, not on the acceptance phase. Right? Test automation, can you do it in implementation? What is the first thing Herschel said is when you do the catalog? You need to have it working manually, right? Before you do it, unless you're doing it programmatically using Ruby Cucumber, that's a different thing. So what I want you guys to think about it, right, before you get into the second project, is go ahead and take a look at the material. Herschel will send it out. go ahead and revise this thing. This is, if you look at it, when you go to interview, they will ask you, what did you do? Right? You have to tell what all activity you did it, what tools you used for what type of activity, and what exactly the output you produce. Right? So when you don't produce the test results, you're in problem, right? You need to get the data, right? So during the implementation phase and during the testing phase, you have to manage your data because all of you talked about SQL. Well, if you're not managing data, why do you need SQL? Right? We'll still do test data management even in the acceptance phase, because sometimes you will do acceptance test on the behalf of users. Again, there's nothing new that I've been telling you, right? The more important is you know everything. Just now you need to build a confidence and talk about what you know. I bet if I talk and ask you probing question, each and every one of you know all of those things. Okay. So Herschel will send it out. Herschel, this is in the SharePoint area.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions as you go around it? This essentially sums up everything that you will do it and you need to know.
Yeah, sorry.
You don't have to be sorry. You just need to have confidence. You know it. All of you know it. And I know that. Because otherwise you would not have done it, all the assignments, right?
Know everything, but I don't know, when you're asking questions, I can't relate those things with the.
With the phase,
Yeah.
because that's something, yep, it comes with the experience and so forth.
Right.
But I think most of the activities you recognize that you did, it's just that where it fits in properly. I think that's what I think you guys.
It's a very good muscle and it's a very good thing.
Yeah, I mean, this
This
is.
will build our confidence when we go over there.
Right. Now realize that when you do it in Agile, all of those things is condensed within 2 weeks. Right. So I think that's what I want to do. It's focus is more on the activity and then roughly around what period in the software development lifecycle you use it. So for example, at the implementation phase, the developers are still writing the code, right? So you're never going to execute the test case because you don't have a system to run against.
Yep.
Right. So those kind of things that you need to think through it. Okay. And you're not going to probably do a more automation. It's going to be fall more here.
Yeah, execution will go under testing, but you can build the automation tests while developers are coding.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a nice summary of what we learned so far.
All right. So Arshil, you want to switch now to the project?
Yep. So any question on this one? I think everybody's good, right? At least you get the idea.
Yeah, we need to know all this, like where.
Well, it's a full-time job, right? So you should know. I mean, but as I said, I mean, it comes with a little bit more experience and practice and so forth. Hopefully, second project will give you a little bit more. But in the project, we'll focus more on the planning and design and those things, a little bit less on the execution side. But you have the tools available, right? You still have access to it. You still have access to DevOps. You still have access to Jira. You can still write your test cases and so forth in those tools. So Yep. All right. Okay, nobody wants to take a break, right? Everybody good? All right, great. Okay, so let's switch our focus.